Hi, I'm Jim Gordon in the offices of the Richmond Sentinel. Welcome to a special edition of Richmond Stories. Well, we are back for another Richmond Stories. As we mentioned, one of our regular contributors, Rika Mansingh, who you can see and read in the Richmond Sentinel. Her videos are going over very well with our viewers. Thank you for watching those. Rika is back with another great segment. One of the great things we've been doing and what we've been hearing from viewers is they love what you're offering. You're really taking people inside food, the body, the mind, and keeping it for dim people like me simple so that I can follow. I have been really enjoying these segments. We are... Well, we're right next door to the holiday season.
Yes.
And with that, of course, we all know this. We're all nodding our heads because you know what I'm going to say. Bad eating, a lot of eating, stress, everything else, but it's all part of what makes the holidays, I guess.
Yes.
We're going to talk today about mindful eating for the festive season,
Right.
all kidding aside. It is a tough time for many people.
Yes.
It's great when you've talked about certain phrases and catchphrases and terms. What I want to talk to you first about is something called emotional eating.
Right.
I've heard it joked about, but it's not funny.
Yes.
Because it's a serious thing.
Oh, it is.
So tell our viewers about that.
Okay, so Jim, it is so important to recognize the difference between emotional eating and physical hunger, right? So emotional eating is the act of eating in response to an emotional trigger.
Right.
So a person's eating because they're stressed or they're anxious or they're bored or they're angry, and they tend to look towards food for comfort. Right, and to differentiate between those two, emotional eating happens rapidly. You triggered and you want to eat immediately.
Was it something emotionally?
Yeah, maybe they listened to a song, it made them sad.
Right.
Something that triggered an emotion from a past event.
Right.
And it makes them crave a specific type of food.
Okay.
Right? But true hunger, it develops over a longer period of time, and it's hunger or willingness to eat a variety of food. So it's not eating in response to an emotional trigger.
Right.
It's just you eating, it's lunchtime and you start getting hungry from 10 a.m.
Right,
or so, right? And what's so interesting about emotional eating, it's not just about what you're eating, but the question is, what is eating you?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Good line,
and so
right?
I always tell my patients, before you eat, pause and ask yourself, am I really hungry, or am I eating because I'm stressed or I'm bored? Or I'm like,
Right.
And what you can do is drink a glass of water, do a different activity, wait for 15 minutes, and revisit those feelings. Am I really hungry? True hunger will remain.
Interesting.
Usually
okay.
when you're craving a specific food, you interrupt the pattern by thinking about something else, and drinking your water, it should go away.
Right.
Yeah, so it's important to eat only when you're hungry.
And it's almost like you don't want to overthink this, but it's almost like you need a strategy to getting through the festive season.
Yes.
Some of the stuff I wanted to talk about is the mindful eating strategies to enjoy meals over the festive season, without overindulging, and you also are conscious of your weight. I know everybody is, or most people are, but you really need to.
Yes, be mindful.
Mindful,
and I think being mindful and just having heightened awareness is key, right? Because it can be simple strategies. Only when you're aware of what you're doing, you can make a change. So mindfulness and awareness is massive. So with the festive season, I like to call the food festive season because many people's routines are interrupted, and that's where the inevitable overindulging occurs, right? So simple things like don't eat on the go. If you're eating in a rush and you're in a hurry, your brain does not register that you've eaten. And what happens is you'll eat more food and you'll crave more food faster.
Interesting. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you gobble and go, you will actually miss your mind's sensation of fullness. It takes your mind 20 minutes to recognize that you're full. If you're eating fast, if you're eating fast, you will not realize, hey, I got full before I could complete the meal.
Right.
If you're eating slowly and you're savoring each bite, you get full faster. So that's an important strategy, right? Another strategy is just be mindful of associations. Like drop out distractions. When you're watching TV, don't eat while watching TV. Don't eat while reading the newspaper. Because these are things that can easily form habits, right? And it becomes automated.
Yeah.
You sit on the couch, suddenly you're reaching for the bag of chips.
Right,
so just be mindful about associations. Another association which is very strong is the movies. automatically we stand in line to get our sugary beverages, our extra large popcorn, because that's what we do at the movies.
Right.
But do you really need the popcorn? Just be mindful. Am I really hungry for that large popcorn? And a strategy for that is have a light snack before you go to the movies. And then decide, do I want a large popcorn or a small popcorn? You know, so simple things like that. And I just want to mention one more thing, because I think during the festive season, everybody's entertaining and their kitchens are so busy and cluttered.
Right.
There's a study I wrote about in my book from the Journal of Environment and Behavior. And it found that women who had cluttered kitchens, disorganized kitchens, were more stressed and likely to emotionally eat and took in double the amount of calories.
Okay.
So over the festive season, you want to keep your kitchen counters clear, avoid having the unhealthy food on the counters.
Right.
Because you'd be on a seafood diet, Jim. You'd see food and you'll eat it.
I think in general too, I find that I get stressed if my apartment is messy.
Right.
And so the stress
busy,
of it,
right?
busy.
So clear the kitchen clutter.
Clear the
basically.
kitchen, excellent. I wanted to also, and eat before you go to the theater, you'll save about $90.
Easily.
Right, by not buying food there.
Yes.
In your NLP book, you wrote a section entitled Catch Those Tricky Triggers.
Right. Yes.
What are some tips to cope with emotions when triggered without turning to food?
Right. And that's why I like NLP, because it really taught me how to make changes and interrupt patterns.
Okay.
Because all habits, it's just patterns. And when you're aware of a pattern, you can change it, right? So when it comes to emotions, it's so important to be aware. Usually, if I'm eating unhealthily, what did I see? What did I think? What did I hear? What did I feel?
Right.
Just before that triggered habit happened, right? And Jim, it's usually the same thoughts, the same feelings, and the same behavior that follows, right? And with most people, are either overthinking the future or they over-remembering the past, right?
Yeah.
And what we have to do is bring yourself to the present moment, right? You catch yourself, okay, I'm feeling this way. Focus on being grateful in the present moment.
Right.
Inhale for 4 seconds, hold, exhale for 4 seconds, do a different activity, and switch to gratitude. And there's a science behind gratitude. The brain cannot think a negative thought if in a state of gratitude. So if you're feeling stressed and you suddenly say, what am I grateful for? And you do that and you do the breathing, eventually the stress will subside, right? And in doing that, you interrupt the pattern.
Which is the key, you're telling me.
Yes. And I think another good technique to bring a person to the present moment, I would highlight on, it's a neuroscience-backed technique, and it's called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, right? So at that point, you're very stressed, just pause, breathe, bring to your awareness 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And you just do the deep breaths. That will center you to the present moment where you're not overthinking the future and you're not over-remembering the past. So it's just a way, it's just a few techniques, but you can only do those techniques if you catch yourself, if you're aware, and not be on autopilot and get derailed.
Right. Let's talk about your advice, continuing with this trend about the festive season, and of course, you got to stay motivated. It's tough because the season is long. What can you talk about? Or talk about things that you would advise in terms of staying motivated, staying on track. Yes, we all want to eat and we all want to have drinks and wine and everything, but what are some of the key things that you advise people to do during that period?
Right. So I think, and with a lot of my patients, I tell them, make realistic goals. Like don't aim to achieve weight loss over the festive season. A realistic goal is to maintain your weight, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is just plan ahead. If you know you're going to a buffet or social gathering, have a light snack beforehand to curb your appetite so you don't overindulge, right? Another thing you could do is just make sure you exercise more. Fine, I overindulged the night before, so I will be doing my run and burning all those calories. You know, balance. It's not a time for deprivation. It's important to enjoy your favorite foods, you know, in variety, enjoy the variety, there's balance. And very important, Jim, is when you overindulge the night before and you wake up in the morning, watch the negative self-talk, because people are usually very hard on themselves, right? And guilt hinders progress. You want to have love and compassion for yourself and know that every day is a new day. And it's okay to have those days where you overindulge. You're not doing that every day. So,
No. I actually find personally the the idea of the exercising the next day
Yes.
is kind of a reward, like that you're, okay, I did this last night, and balancing,
yes,
right?
Definitely.
Also sticking with the food and the eating, and whether you're at a family gathering or friend's house for a party or whatever, or a restaurant, are there recommendations you can give for that, what we'll call food swaps?
Right.
It's, I'll have that and that, but I'm going to pass on that.
Good, yes.
Yeah.
So there's many food swaps a person can do. So the first thing is avoid foods that are deep fried, battered, crumbed, and overly sauteed.
Which is most of the stuff during the holidays.
Yeah,
but
so you want to do the baked, boiled, grilled, steamed foods, right?
Yeah.
So that would be one swap. An interesting swap is instead of using your oil-based creamy dressings on a salad, use a vinaigrette-based dressing.
Oh, good idea,
so
yes.
even if you use 2 tablespoons of vinaigrette dressing in your salad, it actually delays the digestion of carbohydrate in your meal.
Right.
So that's a very good swap that you could make.
Good to know, excellent.
You could swap fruit for dessert. You could swap your refined carbohydrates, which we spoke about in the last segment about the glycemic index.
Yeah.
So your white bread, your white rice, your white pasta, you want to go the whole grain, multi-grain, brown or wild rice, quinoa option.
Yeah, yeah.
A good idea is also when you place an order at a restaurant while dining out, ask for your sauces and gravies on the side.
I
and
do,
then you can
yes.
actually decide how much you're going to use.
Yeah.
If the portion is too large, take the rest of it home or share it with somebody else. Ask for small portions.
Sure.
There's just so many ideas. I could speak about this for like
Well, we're going to give before we wrap up, we're going to give you, of
Yeah.
course, you being the expert and the guest, you have the final word to our viewers this festive season.
So I would like to say that we should all embrace the festive season with joy and nourishment and choose wisely. Remember, it's not a time for deprivation. Enjoy your favorite foods and find a way to make it work for you. What's very important is to savor each bite as a celebration of your well-being. You are alive and breathing. And I wish you a very happy, healthy, festive season.
And on that note, we will thank you for watching again. It's always great to have Rika Mansingh, one of the good signings we did this year at the Richmond Sentinel. You, of course, can see her columns in the Richmond Sentinel and watch her videos. Comments are always welcome. And if you want to reach out to Rika, it's info@rikadietforwellness.com, of course, the email address. And the website, rikadietforwellness.com. Both of those are on our screen right now. You can reach out to her. She's always helping people eat and be healthier, which is great. Thank you for being a part of. You're quite welcome. We'll see you. I think you're going home actually to South Africa.
To South Africa. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you have
Family
a good
time.
Excellent, good, and we'll see you in the new year.
Definitely.
And thanks to everyone here at Hamilton High Street Senior Residence for hosting us here. One of the great partners with the Richmond Sentinel. I'm Jim Gordon. Thanks to everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again on Richmond Stories.